David J. and L. Cook.
As of 3:30, we already had a quorum
3:30?
today. At this time, the voting is officially closed. We have a quorum of approximately 244 votes that are ballots that have been turned in. In order for these measures to pass, we needed a 67% majority of the quorum to vote in the affirmative for each item. So therefore, the total needed to pass was 164. And a few more have come in. So amendment to the declaration outlined in Exhibit A, question 1, approval was 211. Disapproved 21, 12 abstained, therefore it passed. Question 2 is to roll over the excess funds. 229 approved, 4 disapproved, and 11 abstained. It passed. Question 3, waive the financial audit until 2 years. It's 226 approved, 7 disapproved, 11 abstained. It had passed. So therefore, all 3 items have passed. Thank you all for participating. Was this meeting properly noticed?
Yes, it was.
Kathy, would you call the roll, please?
Tom McIntyre.
Here.
Skip Zimmerman. Janet Miranda. Here. Kathy Levin. Here. Michael Lamb. Ken Giroux. Scott Harris.
Here. Thank you. We do have a quorum, and the voting is closed. At this time, I'm pretty sad to say farewell to 2 people who have served with us for 3 years. First was Skip Zimmerman. He was our vice president for the last 3 years. And we have a little certificate. Nancy, would you come accept this for him, please?
If Skip were here, he'd be crying too. However, I thank the board on Skip's behalf. He couldn't be here today. He loved working, as you well know, for Pine Ridge and for membership. But it is what it is, and everything will be fine. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Also, we have one for Kathy Levin, who was our secretary for 3.5 years. So. I guess that pretty much takes care of the first part of our business. So, Kathy, we have a reserved seat right here for you. And we'd like to welcome Jim Tucker and John Fricker to our new board. Would you stand, please? And also, Janet Miranda is running for, or not running. She's going to serve another 2 years.
Okay, break out the ceremonial paddle.
So first I'd like to say thank you both for offering to give your time to Pine Ridge. Any old business? Any new business that we should discuss?
We need, at this time, we need to, before we adjourn, we need to appoint someone to, oh, you wanna, how can you adjourn now without me appointing him to be president for the next time? I guess maybe we're
Procedures.
gonna wait adjourn for this meeting. Now we've got a new meeting.
Okay, then. Thanks, Jerry. I was so excited I forgot to have the pledge, so let's try it.
Sounds like gonna start our meeting.
So at this time, we're going to call to order the organizational meeting so that we can seat these new people on the board. And I don't think I have to repeat the date or the time. All sitting here. So, Eric, would you call the roll since we don't have a secretary?
John Fricker.
Here.
Jim Tucker.
Here.
Scott Harris.
Here.
Tom McIntyre.
Here.
Janet Miranda.
Here.
Kenny Jerome. Absent. Mike Loudon.
Thank you. Was this meeting properly noticed? Since everyone was here for the minutes, I think we can waive the minutes for the last meeting.
I move that they be waived.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There will be no reading of the minutes. At this time, we'll recognize anyone that would like to speak on open forum. We did not. I think Nancy had her hand up first. Nancy.
Thank you. There's a lot of changes that have taken place in Pine Ridge, and I think it's great. The 50-50, wonderful, I hope I win. The second is the lunch, hot dogs or hamburgers, I think it's great. The new floor is fantastic. But how about considering that we can wash our cars in our driveway instead of coming over here. And by the time you finish washing the car, it's drying and has all watermarks on it. So if the board would consider, it used to be that we could wash the cars in the driveway, but for whatever reason, they stopped it. Thank you.
Thank you. As I understand it, the water that we have in our buildings is on a separate system from the water that we use for washing the cars. And this is potable water. I don't know if the other, I don't think the other is.
Yeah, it's expensive.
So we have to pay more for the water from our houses than we have to pay for the water out of our.
What I'll also add is the way that we budget the water bill is each phase, we have 4 phases of condos. Each phase is, we budget basically what you used last year, plus if there's an increase. Now, if you wash the car in the driveway, all of that water is being charged to the condo that you live in, whereas we take a percentage of the water used in the car wash and spread it across the 4 condos based on what percentage of the community they are. So if a lot of people were washing their cars in the driveway, it could really have an impact on their dues, whereas over here, it's kind of a little more even and fair. So that's the main reason.
I didn't realize that. Thank you.
Although that's not a definitive no, at the next meeting, we'll discuss it and come back with probably a definitive no.
Thanks for clearing that up, Scott. Ed?
Thank you. I'm just coming on board full-time. Been here for 11 years. And one of the things that I want to just simply express to the board is my thank you for what you've done. This last year was a very, very difficult year. And the results of what we are seeing and experiencing, I think, was a great job. And say thank you very much to the board that just left. Welcome to the new board. I believe the new board can be as big as the old board. But primarily, I'm just expressing my gratitude for all of the efforts that have been made. And Tom, you've done a wonderful job. Thank you.
Anyone else?
You don't like your nose. It's kind of brown.
In regards to the date, the people that have vehicles have no problem because they have the transponder. They can go right in on the right-hand side. I'm legally blind, so I have to rely on the bus service to pick me up from my appointments and bring me back. The problem is when coming back, not going out. That could be a problem. The problem is there's a person coming in trying to access the code, doesn't have the code, stands there, we're waiting 15 minutes trying to get in. I'm on the bus's driver's getting irritated, and I'm listening to him and all. And she can't get in. I don't know what her problem was, whether she didn't have a code, whether she just trying to see somebody or push on all the, it was 15 minutes. Now he has a schedule to do. So he's going to, if he's late dropping me off, he's going to be late, late for all his other pickups. So, and then another time, she ended up backing up, so we all had to back up. 4 cars had to back up, which is, I think, is dangerous. And there could be liability if somebody got in an accident. Because the way to get out, is a good way to get out. It should be a better way for them to, they can't get through. There should be a better access for them to leave. And another time, I 5 minutes, a lady was trying to get in, she couldn't get in, she backed out after 5 minutes. Another car went in, well, she followed the other car in, but, she piggybacked, but, she got caught between the arm and the gate. So what was she gonna do? Now, I'm with a lady that was bringing me home. I didn't want to keep her waiting, so I said, let's go keep her another room. That was the only thing I could think to do. So she got in. I don't know how that happened like that, but it did happen. Because I couldn't see because I'm legally blind. So I said, what's going on? Where did she get in? She said, no, she's in between. So I said, keep on. Well, the point of this is could there be a remote for people that live in here that could use the right-hand side to push a button and to get in on the right-hand side so they don't have to go through all that irritation. When you have somebody bringing you, it's real irritating not only for them but for yourself too. So I'd like to hopefully there's a remedy to that.
Thank you.
You ride the same bus every day, or is it different?
It's not every day, it's just when I have appointments with the doctors.
It's different bus.
Different bus driver every time. Isn't going from the
I know we've been talking about this problem of having to back up for a long time. And Eric contacted our landscaper. He has some extra pavers left over from other jobs. So we're going to try to make a exit so you can exit out of that lane and go back around and do whatever you have to do to get them out of the line, so you don't have to wait that time.
That I don't think would be an option. But kind of the reason that we changed over the system is so people who aren't supposed to be, kind of reason that the board chose to change over to this system is so the people that aren't supposed to be here can't get in. So there's people having difficulties, maybe they're not supposed to be here. I think a turnaround where after a few minutes you honk your horn and the guy Well, I see this in a lot of communities, and I think if the turnaround is there, you honk your horn, they'll come around and come behind you and continue their drive. That's typically what happens.
Traffic suggestions for this, make clear, we all have a transformer that's on two hours, why don't you put that transformer on the car?
It won't work. It won't work. It has to be on, it has to be on glass. Glass is the Betty, we'll talk about this and then we'll discuss it with you individually, okay?
We also reserved that area right there, that's why we didn't plant there, in case we had to make the cutout there, but it was the expense of the
Yeah, so we're looking into it, and Avant-Garde has made a generous offer of, they have the pavers, they only charge us for labor to do it. So that was pretty good, but we gotta see what he wants for the labor before we say yes.
Jolene?
I know. I'm gonna piggyback what Betty just said. Today when I came in, I was in the resident side, and somebody came out of the other side, came around, let somebody in with their key fob, and tried to follow them in, and it came down. So I watched them to see what they were doing. Well, they were calling their phone to let themselves in. But I've had other people, like Dad's oxygen gets delivered, we've had a terrible time getting the guy in here. It's very hard because at times the sun is shining on that box. You can't see anything. So I think if we could get somehow a sign that says, do this, do that, because they can't read it in that little message part. So I've noticed that. I don't know if you can do it, but that might help.
Very good point.
There's also maybe a sun-
Yeah.
Blinded by the light.
It might help on that side.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tony. I offered that suggestion, too, but, you know, getting people to read signs and do what they're supposed to do, two different things.
We could do a laminate. Do a laminate, like a laminate card.
Something, yeah, they can read that right there so they see it.
Yeah, I quit ordering Chinese because I don't want to have to explain to those guys how.
Yeah.
I just go get it myself.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you gotta press the phone button and these numbers. Phone button. I was like, yeah.
Any other, comment on the, open forum?
I have a comment about the gate.
Okay.
Some people go to the gate and just start pushing a bunch of numbers and calling. And eventually somebody's up their name without asking who they are. But when I've been in Iowa, I've been on the call two or three times. I know they're not coming to see me. Gate called me, wanting me to get number 9, so it's open, so. If someone is coming to see you, ask them who, ask who they are before you buzz their number.
Everyone has a number assigned to their name. You should all know that number and have your friends be pushing that number in to call you. You should all know that by heart.
Some people just start pushing.
One thing that I like to say is that people are having that much difficulty getting their guests in. It's a pretty user-friendly system overall. It's the most user-friendly. We paid more money to get one with the big buttons and the big screen so people could see what they were doing. But this is the nature of these telephone entry systems. The benefit is you buy it, you have it, and there's no monthly cost of having a guard or a virtual guard or something like that. The downside is that the people are essentially the guards. Like what Mike said, if you get a call from someone just asking you to let them in, they're probably not supposed to be here. And we have a turnaround where people can pull out. If they're having difficulty and you see a car behind you, I think a normal person would pull out and let that car go through and then get back to trying to figure it out. But we go look at signage, and I think maybe having a town hall type meeting where we can go through and answer people's questions, that may help, because it really is a simple system.
Also, if you think somebody's trying to scam the way in, call Barry because we got to understand anything.
There's a,
Well, no, but if somebody's scamming their way in, we've got a record of their license plate and everything on record. So if you call Eric right away, he can timestamp it.
well, another problem is that I don't think we all understand this high-tech stuff. So, because there was a woman in front of me in the transponder lane waving her fob. And she says the gate won't open. Now, we're gonna have a class. Any other comment? Since we're not going to vote for officers at this time, we usually put this off for until we can have a complete board, so everyone gets a vote on the board. We're going to waive the seating of the new officers until our January meeting.
Shall I make a motion?
Sure.
Waive the election of the board officers until the January meeting?
So, made and seconded, I took the words right out of my mouth. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried.
I'd like to make a motion that for our meeting in January, that Tommy serve as president until we have voted.
I'll second that.
Then motion been made and seconded that I serve as the president until the January election of officers. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Tom. Okay, any new business that the board wants to bring up at this time? I have a few things. We went to a meeting called the Community Associations Officers Forum down in the Estero on yesterday. And we, although they weren't officially officers yet, Jim and John went down with us. And I think it was very educational for them as well as for me. There were a few things that were stressed. I think some of this you should be aware of, especially when it comes to budget time. That it is our fiduciary responsibility to keep our fees in line with the economy. So as the economy rises and the cost of jobs increase, we have to increase we're responsible for increasing our fees. We don't have a choice of just saying, well, I'm not going to vote on any fee rate this year, so we don't have to raise it, but we're responsible for that. I hope you understand that the board takes us very seriously. We don't raise our fees on a whim. They're carefully thought out, and therefore we try to do the best we can to protect our community. Although we're not completely happy with our insurance carrier, we're required by law to insure our property at its assessed value. And so we're $55 million, as Eric pointed out, our assessed value. So we have to have big time insurance, and we would like to see a little more response from the insurance companies than they've given us during after Irma, but we're just still working on it. Also, one of the points they may not made was that it's very important that the curb bill is kept up. And I know people have asked me, well, why are you spending all this money on flowers and incidentals when we could be saving that money? Well, that increases our value, so it's a vicious circle that takes place. We want to increase our values. We want to have the best place that we can. It was pointed out that the FDIC only insures up to $250,000. I got a note from Eric today that all of our accounts are in separate accounts, so we're all of them are insured, so we don't have to worry about. That's about it from the meeting. The other thing I wanted to bring up is that we've had some complaints about on-street parking. Now, we do have a rule that you do not park on the street, but we sort of overlook at that during the day. But at night, for especially fire safety reasons, we don't want any cars in our streets. So please make an effort to pull your car completely off of the streets and park them in the parking lot. If you have more than 2 cars, then we have extra parking spaces at each end of Villa Drive. And so you can leave one of your cars that you're not using all the time right there. That's a,
A lot of times with the street parking, people will park on the curves where the road bends around because there's an open area without a house or a driveway there. But that's the most dangerous thing you can do, because if someone's coming around that corner and maybe they're coming around a little faster than they should be, they're basically blind. They don't know that your car is there, and there's a very high chance of an accident. I see it where I live, the same thing.
that's it for me. Okay, Janet.
Hearing no further business, this meeting is adjourned. I thought y'all waited.
I gotta say goodbye to Mr. Brownlow.
I gotta do my thing.
Oh, yeah. You're running for board? No, I think so, because Jim didn't run.